welcome to the 24th episode of the Backburners. I'm Dylan Sherman.
And I'm Sam Tiller. We want to thank you for lending your ears for another hour of nonstop sports entertainment.
And how could we ever not forget, ever on the history of planet Earth, our beautiful, fantastic producer, Fabio. Hi.
What up, what up?
And she's back.
Enter Intern Part 2.
Return of the Mack. Intern.
Yay.
Because you guys won't clap for me. That's
I'm clapping for you right now.
Yeah, for sure.
It's great to have you back. We're excited to have you.
Glad to be back.
Well, you know what? Enough dilly-dallying around. Yeah, you're back. Whatever. Who cares? You're back in the studio.
I'm
mean,
back. It's a Bones Day. We're having a great day.
It is a Bones Day.
So, yeah, we talked about that last night, and it actually popped up on my TikTok feed today. So I was like, God
Did it really?
damn it. It's listening to you, Mackenzie, through my phone.
And it's its owner's birthday.
Yeah. It's a Bones Day.
It's like, who gives a shit?
What'd you do for this Bones Day?
I cleaned my car. Well, I emptied my car from my travels, and I was going to go vacuum it, but I didn't because it was raining so fucking hard that I did not. But I went grocery shopping, filtered through some of my 800 photos that I took. Yeah.
Good.
Just an aggressive amount of photography on that 2-week vacation. So,
Well,
yeah.
Let me tell you, it was not only a vacation for you, it was a vacation for me.
You missed me.
I
Don't
did
even
not.
lie.
I did not. Listen, let's get into it. We are going to open up with the Intern Report brought to you by the intern herself, Mackenzie Nolan.
Word.
Go for it.
Let's see. I don't know. My fantasy team struggled this week, so I'm not very excited to report. Packers-Chiefs game, it was like watching a high school football scrimmage. It was just like so bad. And then that game also had a lot of clock issues, which caused major delays. So Jordan Love had his first ever touchdown and his first ever interception in the same game, so that's fun. Chiefs, I don't know what's happening to them. Hopefully they can pull it together.
It's rebuild time.
Browns-Bengals game was not as close as I thought it was going to be. Clearly they don't need or miss OBJ. Burrow struggled a lot. 2 interceptions, and he was sacked 5 times. Dolphins beat the Texans 17-9. It was super ugly, but a win is a win.
Weren't there like 9 turnovers in that game?
5, yeah. It was crazy.
That's still a lot.
That's a lot. Let's see. And then both the Falcons and the Chargers had walk-off field goals to win.
God damn it.
And then, obviously, the Raiders had a very rough day against the Giants, and Patriots had a good 24-6 victory over the Panthers. So,
You know, for how good the Panthers started, Sam Darnold is just showing his true colors. It's so bad. He's thrown like 6 interceptions in the last 3 weeks.
It's not good football.
Oh, it's so bad. I was so high on them in the beginning of the year, and then they just played out of their minds, and now it's like Sam Darnold's up to his same old bullshit.
Sam Darnold, his performance this year, it's like eating a bowl of cereal. And when you start out, in the beginning, it's great. It was fantastic. And then
It gets soggy.
Then you wait, and it's just a soggy piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's really disappointing because you were so high on the Panthers.
I was, but hey, you know what? Their defense is playing damn good football. It's just I thought Sam Darnold was really going to turn his career around, and the first 5 weeks he played so good, and I don't know what happened, what changed. Just so unfortunate because goddamn, they were on a roll. They were looking good.
It's truly disappointing.
Yeah, you can take Sam Darnold out of the Jets, but you cannot take the Jets out of Sam Darnold.
And you can't take Sam Darnold out of Sam Darnold.
Yeah. I mean, he did throw a lot of interceptions in college, too. So I guess that's just the way he's always been. But
some of the decision-making.
It's poor.
It's so bad.
It's poor.
Anything else to report, Intern?
College, good win for Oregon over unranked Washington, even after a sketchy start. Travis Dye rushed for a career high of 211 yards. Let's see,
Monster.
Purdue beat Michigan State 40-29.
I think that was the shock of the weekend.
That was a wild game.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. O'Connell threw 3 touchdowns, and they scored one on a reverse flea flicker screen pass.
That was crazy.
The
was
slowest
crazy.
trick play
It was so
in history.
crazy.
Yeah, but dude, like, I mean, the blocking, like, setup for that was awesome because they had all 5 linemen out in front of him. It was great.
They've been practicing that for months.
Yeah, no, it was a beautifully designed play. And Purdue has 2 top 5 wins this year.
What? That
doesn't make sense.
It's insane to me.
Yeah. They're like really bad unless they play a top 5 team.
They turn into that's why I can't even believe that.
Yeah.
2 top 5 wins.
Yeah. Crazy.
Michigan State and who?
Iowa.
Oh, that's right.
They were Iowa's first loss.
That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
When they were number 2.
Right.
Crazy.
What else you got for us, intern?
Oh my gosh, USC can't even catch a break with their quarterbacks. Their quarterbacks, Dart and Slovis, were switching between drives.
Such a horrible decision.
It's not working. But
Mediocre program.
Figure it out. And lastly, Mississippi State kicker missed 3 field goals. So on Sunday, Mike Leach announced an open tryout for the Bulldogs' new kicker.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
They had 2
if
kickers.
So after watching your guys' little field goal competition, maybe you guys should head on down to Starkville.
I'm down. I got 4 years of eligibility left.
I just want to say that I won that. Nothing else.
Shh.
Well, is that the end of the intern report?
That's all.
Well, thank you so much, intern.
All right.
We love reading them, even though sometimes I forget.
You did forget.
I forgot once.
Yeah, just once. In the, 15 episodes you've been involved with this show. It's pretty good.
We were so distracted.
It was a really good interview, so I'm not even mad.
Thanks. Should we get into, what do we say? We want to do some mom spaghetti?
Mom spaghetti.
Yeah.
Okay. Intern, do you want to kick us off, mom spaghetti?
Sure. Mine was obviously the Bama versus LSU game because my hands were sweating the entire game because I was so nervous because we played like garbage. Slade Bolden needs to spend less time in Moe's, which is a bar here. He's there every single Thursday night when he should be sleeping.
Or watching film.
But yeah, exactly. It should have never been that close though. We just made a lot of stupid mistakes on offense. So it came down literally to the clock running down to 0 to secure the win, which was not a very good feeling, but really exciting when we won.
Very nice.
Yeah.
How about you?
UFC 268. God damn. What a card. It was, oh my God. I hadn't watched UFC in a while, and that card was spectacular. To start it off, Gaethje Chandler. Are you kidding me? That's like a co-main event. Just absolutely wild. That was the fight of the night, by far. I cannot believe Gaethje survived some of those flurries from Michael Chandler. He got pounded in the first round. I thought he was going down. And then he rocked Chandler in the second round. They both rocked each other in the third round. Gaethje got his hand raised at the end of the fight. Just an absolute war by 2 of the toughest guys in the UFC that just love to just stand in and trade. It was so much fun to watch. Rose obviously retains her title. That was a really good fight, really technical fight by Rose. She's a stud.
She's a stud. Thug Rose.
Yeah, she's just, she's something special. And then Colby Covington, there was so much hype around that fight, and there was so much shit talk that they were doing before that. Kamara pushed Colby in the weigh-ins. Just a lot of shit. It lived up to it. Kamara beat him pretty handedly, I thought. It was 4-1 at the end of it. Look, Kamara is, I think he's the best pound-for-pound guy in the UFC right now, and that was a championship mentality kind of fight because he got rocked a couple times, but he always battled back. When Covington shot for takedowns, he just defends him like he always does. And, yeah, he just proved why he's defended his belt so many times and why he's so dominant in that welterweight division. I don't know if anybody else in that division has a chance to take him down at this time because he's just so dominant. And, God, his right hand is just, it's terrifying. Oh, my God. It scares the hell out of me. But, yeah, just an overall great card. Joe Rogan was back, which was great. He hadn't called a fight since July. And UFC fights are always better when Rogan calls them. And it was an MSG. Just a fantastic night for the UFC. That arena was rocking. It was so fun.
It was interesting to see. So Colby Covington and Kamaru embraced after the fight, right?
Yeah.
And then, so they were like, yeah, it's all for the money. It's all for show. Like, I respect you, whatever. And then in his post-fight press conference, I think, Colby just goes back to talking shit. Yeah, you just saw all the stuff in his stomach. He's not a clean fighter. You know, he's a piece of shit. It's just like, dude,
well,
come on.
It is an act that he puts on because, I don't know, a couple years ago, the UFC basically said, we're going to drop you if you don't up your game, essentially. And so then he just started with this persona of being this asshole, talking a bunch of shit. But I was listening to Cam Hanes on the Joe Rogan podcast, and Cam Hanes is really good friends with Colby Covington. And he was saying that he's such a soft-spoken, just a wonderful human being when you get him outside of the UFC. Like, that's just not who he is. He just puts on this personality. It's almost a little bit professional wrestling-like, where he just puts on this persona to be this asshole, this bad boy, just to create publicity and create hate around him, kind of like Conor did.
Right, yeah, the McGregor effect.
Yeah, exactly. And it propelled his career. If it wasn't for Usman, he would 100% be the welterweight champion, and he's one of the greatest welterweight fighters of all time. It's just he happens to be fighting in his prime at the same time that Kamaru Usman is in his prime, and he's one of the greatest UFC fighters of all time. So it's just unfortunate luck for him, but he's a great fighter.
He is. For my mom, spaghetti, how about the Boise State Broncos going down to Fresno, California, and pulling out the win? That's 2 top 25 road wins this year.
Yeah, it was impressive. I did not think they were going to pull that off.
Not at all, and especially in the way they did it. 40-14.
Mm-hmm.
Hank balled out for 283 yards, touchdown. Boise State had 5 sacks, forced 3 turnovers from Jake Haener. 3 picks.
Yeah, he's good, too,
and he is an absolute stud.
He is. I think he's a first-round quarterback.
He's legit.
Yeah.
Especially in the beginning of the year, he was balling out. He balled out against UCLA. He balled out against Oregon. He's a legit guy.
He's a stud.
But the question is, how do you judge this Boise State team? Because they lost to UCF on the road, which was tough. They lost to Oklahoma State by 1 at home. They lose to Nevada. They lose to Air Force.
Yeah.
It's how...
Realistically, Boise State is a couple bad plays away from being a one-loss team right now. They've just had a couple mistakes. All those games have been tight that they've lost, and just a few mistakes in each game cost them those wins. So I think they're good. It's going to be interesting to see if they're ranked when the rankings come out in a couple hours here.
Yeah, they're coming out soon.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cyrus Abibilikio. He ran for like 70 yards and had a 30-yard catch.
Yep.
I believe. At a boy.
Yep, he had a good game.
Friend of the Backburners, of course. Best friend of the Backburners. Wonderful. How about, do you want to wait for your...
No, let's do it.
Okay. So we have a very special, I like to call it a groundbreaking, super special, fantastically whimsical special report by our very own Sam Tiller.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Interesting. It's like not the segment we're going into.
So you were on this trip to Montana, and you came back with some very special news. Go into it.
Yeah, so I was in Montana for 2 weeks, and I had the opportunity to sit down with an individual who has been involved in reffing college games for 25 years ish. I'm not exactly sure, but it's 25 years. So he's been in it a long time. And we were just talking about sports, and then I asked him, I said, okay, how hard is being a ref? Because I think when I watch these games and I see bad calls, missed calls, I just sit there and go, what are these guys looking at? I just don't understand how it's so bad. And it's made me think that I could be an NFL ref and do a better job. I mean, that might be arrogant of me to think, but some of these calls, especially these taunting calls, are horrendous. And just the missed calls, it's just so bad and it's infuriating. And everybody that watches football and follows football has seen the regression of the reffing in the NFL. And so I just asked him, I said, how hard is it? And or is it just a case of horrible reffing? And he goes, it's a case of bad reffing. And he just said so he started talking to me about how the whole organization and how it all works. So you basically start out as a high school ref. And all you got to do is get a certification, pass a test. So you it's not you have people out there reffing high school games who have absolutely no idea anything about football. So you just have to pass this basic test to get certified, and then you can work as a ref for high school games. And then how you move up is there are conferences that are held every single year in Reno and LA and Seattle, and they do so refs from every region come around and they run mock games. And then there are heads of officiating committees from each conference there, and you get evaluated and then you get critiqued. And so they tell you okay, if you want to move up, these are the places where you move from high school to D3 to D2 to D1 and then eventually maybe to the NFL. And so then they hire people from these conferences. And so he was just talking to me about that and how that whole process works. And how it used to work when he first started was you would start out at high school and then you would move up to D3. You'd spend some time there. Then you would move up to D2, spend some time there, move up to D1. And that was by the time you got to D1, you were 15 years into your officiating career, essentially. And then you would have to spend minimum 10 to 12 years in Division I football to even get looked at by the NFL. But what they're doing now is they are hand-picking individuals who fit their agenda, essentially, to become refs. And so instead of having 25 years experience in officiating before you move to the NFL, these guys will do a year in Division III, a year in Division II, a year in a non-Power 5 D1, so Big Sky, Mountain West, American. Then they'll do a year in a Power 5, then they go to the NFL. So they have 4 years experience before they get to the NFL. And that's why the officiating is so bad, because they're hand selecting these guys or girls that fit their profile and fit their agenda that the NFL wants to promote. And there's a saying within the reffing community right now. It's kin and color. So you either have to, Ed Hockley's son, Mike Hockley.
Right.
He's a white hat in the NFL. But he's probably one of the best white hats in the NFL. And so he's a white hat because his dad is Ed Hockley, one of the greatest refs in NFL history. He was fantastic. But the way Mike did it, he didn't just say, "Oh, I'm Ed Hockley's son. It's my right to be an NFL white hat." That's not how he did it. He worked his ass off. He was on an accelerated program, obviously. So he was on the 1 year NFL thing. But he's very good because he put the work in to get to where he wanted to be. He didn't just want to be handed a silver spoon and said, congratulations, you're a white hat in the NFL. We don't even care how bad you are because your dad's at Hockey League.
Mm-hmm.
So he did it right. But again, he had a leg up on everybody because his last name's Hockey League. Makes sense. And then with the color thing, he was saying like former college athletes that are of color. That's what they're trying to get to the NFL. And it's bad because it doesn't even matter if they're any good at what they're doing. And then he talked about Sarah Thomas. He worked with her for a year on his Division III crew.
And she was the first first women's.
Yes. First female ref ever in NFL history. And he was saying, I know what she did to get there. And he explained it to me. And look, I trust this guy. He's seen it firsthand. He's been to a bunch of these conferences, and he knows Sarah Thomas. He worked with her for a year. And he said they were at a conference in Reno. And so you get there Thursday, the conference is on Friday, then they have like a banquet Saturday afternoon, and then they like pick out like the hires and stuff that they're going to move up to the next level. And Sarah Thomas was at this conference, and on Saturday night when it's all done, they all just like kind of stay, go gamble, like have a good time with everybody. And he said he was just sitting down playing blackjack in the casino, and he sees Sarah Thomas walking in with two bigwigs from Power 5 conferences. And she was stumbling drunk, and they were carrying her, and she had hickeys all over her neck. And they carried her up to her room. So, look, I'm not accusing her of anything, but based on what he told me, it sounds like she knew exactly what she was doing to get into the position that she's in. And that's bad. And on top of all of this, that's the ref that John Gruden was talking about in his emails that people called him misogynistic for. Because he was talking shit about her. Because she, and when you watch her, she is not a good line judge. She is really bad at her job. And so he understood what she did, and he was talking about it, but they didn't like it. ESPN didn't like it. The NFL didn't like it because he's exposing them. It's fucked up, dude. I told you, dude, this is gonna blow your mind.
Holy shit.
It is a fucked up organization that is running this officiating stuff. And the thing that pisses me off the most is you watch, all these sports talk shows and all these NFL insiders and analysts and stuff just shit on the reffing. And they're like, oh, this is a bad call. Like this is a missed call right here. But nobody ever talks about, okay, why is this happening? And they know why it's happening, but they don't report on it. They just say, oh, the reffing sucks. Who knows why? Fucking bullshit. They know why. They're promoting a narrative. It's bad.
The NFL is, well, first, that's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
That's pretty nuts.
I was sitting there going, oh, I cannot believe what you're telling me right now. I was shocked.
It's crazy because in a world, in the capitalistic society that we live in, and it's important for companies, for businesses, and at the end of the day, the NFL is a money-making machine.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if you are in insurance or technology, whatever you are in, your product has to be the best in order to make the most money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen, I think, over the past, 5 years, that the NFL's product has gotten worse.
Yeah.
They have ruined the game. They tried their best with the whole pass interference thing, of course, with the egregious call in the Saints-Rams game. They implemented the reviewable pass interference. That was just an absolute nightmare because when you slow down any play in the NFL, there's a penalty.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I understand what they were trying to do. They were trying to cover their ass and look good to the public again because of that egregious call. But this whole taunting thing, it's insane.
Yeah, I mean, there was controversy in the Monday night game.
Right, last night.
Yeah.
Cassius Marsh, runs over to the Steelers sideline. He's kind of just staring people down, didn't say anything. You could see his mouth. He wasn't moving his mouth. He wasn't talking. And as soon as he's running by the white hat, who kind of stuck his ass out a little
Tony
bit.
Correni did stick his ass out a little bit.
After that happened, then he threw the flag. He didn't throw the flag when Cassius was over there.
No, I watched the video today, and he is reaching for his flag when he's, like, staring at the sideline, and then when he turns around, but by the time he turns around, he is starting to reach for his flag.
Oh, it was
But
just
then,
that.
the timing was weird because when he hit him, that's when he threw it.
Yeah.
But he was reaching for it before he hit him.
The frustrating thing to me is that we're basically there are gatekeepers, right, in the NFL that are making these rules, right, in regards to taunting, in regards to whatever. You heard Mike Tomlin say last night, or recently, that he supports the whole taunting bullshit rule. You got to clean up the game. I can't understand these dorks who sit in their high-rise offices in New York City and expect full-grown men who are playing a violent game, with emotion, with passion, and with fire, that listen, you just have to make a big play and walk over to the sidelines.
Yeah.
That is not how football works. You're playing with emotion. So if you make a big play, you're going to get fired up.
Yeah.
And there's the whole thing. Like, obviously, I get why some people think that the league needs to be cleaned up. Sure, probably to mitigate fights and to probably reduce the risks, reduce the instances of fighting, because, taunting leads to shoving and shoving leads to fight, whatever. I see it. I understand it a little bit. But at the end of the day, it seems like the players can't do anything. They can't celebrate at all. No. And I think big plays deserve to be celebrated. And I just, the fact that these dorks are sitting up in a high-rise office telling full-grown athletes who are fucking just, yoked and strong, whatever, that you can't do something, probably those dorks have never fucking played a down of football in their life. We're just like, you know what? You're just going to go have to make the big play and walk back to the sidelines and celebrate with your team. Fuck that.
Yeah.
If you light somebody up.
Do you remember 2 years ago they put those cameras in the end zone so everyone would be like walk over, and then it's like a photo opportunity so they can literally use it for marketing and be like, this is the team celebrating after XYZ play.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then like they walk over to the camera and then walk over to the sideline, but like that was it. That's all they could do.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. They've been flip-flopping because there were problems with celebrating a few years ago.
And then they were like, do whatever you want.
And now we're back to
no fun.
Right. The no fun league.
Yeah. Yeah. And you kind of touched on something. You said like the regression, like it's gone down the last 5 years. And I agree with you. It's the moment in time that I pick out is the replacement refs. They were there for, 5-6 weeks during the holdout. And the reffing was so bad, and then the Fail Mary happened, and that basically brought the NFL refs back to the NFL. That's the moment in time when they reached that agreement. But since then, it seems like the reffing has gone downhill. And the reason the reffing was so bad with the replacement refs is because they're all D3 and D2 guys. That's what those crews were made up of. And so you're seeing the same problem. They don't have the experience that these guys in the NFL have today now. So essentially, what we're working with right now in the NFL is replacement refs. And how many, ever since Mike Pereira, Gene Steratore, and Ed Hockley left the NFL, the caliber of white hat has dramatically declined. Those three guys were incredible at what they did. And you knew that one of them was going to ref the NFC Championship game. One of them is going to ref the AFC Championship game. It's going to be a clean game. They're going to be on top of their shit. They're going to get it right. And there's going to be no controversy. But since the replacement refs were replaced by actual NFL refs, and since those three guys have left the NFL, I feel like the level of officiating has dramatically declined, and what that guy was telling me kind of proved what I was thinking, because it's so bad. Every game you watch, it's so bad. There was they implemented that rule where the offensive player can't low block outside the tackle box. Now
they can't go below the knee.
Yeah, they can't go below the knee outside the tackle box. And so I think the Steelers, no, it was, who were they even playing? The Bears. The Bears scored a touchdown, but it was called back because their guard pulled, and as the DN was coming free off the line, he went low, and he didn't even touch him. And they threw a flag and called back the touchdown. Like, it was so bad, dude. And it's every game. Every single game in the NFL you watch, you just go, oh my God.
Frustrating.
Yeah. So that was the super special report.
The super special, fantastic, whimsical report.
Yeah. It blew my mind. It was like an hour and a half long conversation.
Well, we have now entered into the journalistic world.
Yeah.
You have.
I have a source.
You do. Good job protecting that source, too.
And I mean, like I said, this guy's been in reffing for 20, 25 years, and he knows all these Pac-12 refs. He knows guys in the NFL. Like, he's very connected because he goes to these conferences.
Pac-12 refs are just a different breed of bad.
They're some of the worst in the nation. Yeah. So.
Well, attaboy.
Thank you.
Good job digging up some dirt.
God.
Maybe we'll get some traction. We'll get some viewers after dropping this bombshell.
Yeah, you never know.
Who knows?
Don't at me, ESPN.
At Shefty.
Yeah, come on, man.
You're
report on some real shit here. Like, don't just complain about something. Figure out what the problem is. They know what the problem is. They, like, all those NFL insiders and analysts, they understand. They're all extremely connected in the league. Like, they know shit happens before players and coaches know it happens. There's no way they don't know about what the officiating side is doing. There's no way. I don't believe it. They're just trying to, I don't know, it seems like kind of a cover-up to me that this narrative doesn't get out.
Intern, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it makes sense after watching a lot of the college games this week, and like especially some of the NFL games. Like, the reason they probably look like high school games is because they're being reffed by high school refs.
Exactly.
Like, it just lowers the level of play, because if these guys are like, well, if they're not going to call it, then I'm going to keep doing it if they're not going to see it.
Yeah. It's just it's the inconsistency for me.
Like, last night, it was the roughing the passer calls. Like, they were calling it every single time on Big Ben, but Justin Fields just could not get that called for him. So he was struggling.
And he was heated in his post-game press conference.
Yeah, he was pissed. And I understand why. But it's like, if they're going to call it one way but not the other, it's like, it's rigged a little bit.
Yeah.
Something's got to change.
Yeah.
Because sooner or later
I saw a tweet where it was saying that, like, now that betting is becoming a bigger part of the NFL, like, especially in, like, states like Arizona and whatever, the NFL is now trying to, like, make games more entertaining to bet on by trying to, like, swing them the other direction through play calling. Which
That's
seems,
fucked
like,
up.
really crazy to think about, but once I saw it on, like, Twitter, and then the example that they used was, like, the Bengals-Browns game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that line was so close, but it was such a blowout.
Yeah.
And so they're saying, like, the referees obviously had something to do with it to influence the betting that's happening right now, because more and more people are getting into it and more people are watching. So they're turning it into a entertainment business rather than, like, a professional athletes showcasing talent.
Interesting.
Makes sense, though.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say that the refs could get in on the betting.
Oh, they probably do.
They probably have side bets going on during the game.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
Well, thank you for your report. That was pretty mind-blowing.
Thank you.
Good work.
Thank you.
How about some Are You Serious?
Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you serious?
Yes, we are serious.
Are you serious?
Yes, we are serious. Yeah, God damn it, yes. Who wants to kick this one off? Intern?
Yeah, mine kind of goes with what Tiller just talked about. Mine's the DK Metcalf hug fine that he received. After celebrating a touchdown, he went and jumped and hugged the goalpost. And then on Friday, the NFL announced his official fine, which is $6,949 for unsportsmanlike conduct. And he later tweeted, "Shit ain't no hug worth that much."
Yeah, it's just so dumb. You can't hug a goalpost. Like I get why they banned like the Jimmy Graham celebration where he was dunking over the goalpost because he was fucking up the goalpost and then they were tilted and stuff and then they had to like stop the game. Like that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like don't screw with the equipment. But like, what harm is hugging a goalpost?
Again, it's these dorks who sit.
Added part, so it's not like he was touching like the physical pole. He was touching the pad.
Yeah, it's just stupid.
It's just these dorks, man. They have no idea what it's like to make a big play. They have no idea.
Yeah, it's sad.
What do you got for Are You Serious?
Bills. Jesus. They're like everybody. Before this weekend, they were everybody's favorite to win the Super Bowl. They dominated the Chiefs. And everybody was like, okay, this team, they're legit. And then they go into Jacksonville, score a whopping 6 points.
It's awesome.
Just so bad. I don't, like, they made Jacksonville's defense look like God. And they're just not. But the best part about that game was Josh Allen absolutely shitting on Josh Allen. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Josh Allen, he's the quarterback for the Bills. And the other Josh Allen is a linebacker, a rookie linebacker for the Jags. And it was the first time in NFL history that a defensive player with the same name as the as the quarterback got a sack. And that was a pretty interesting stat. And when it happened, everybody was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But not only did Josh Allen sack Josh Allen, Josh Allen also intercepted Josh Allen, and Josh Allen also forced a fumble from Josh Allen.
It's wild.
Yeah.
When the games were going on, I was looking at Twitter, and Schefter basically tweeted that. It was like, the first time. And it was like, Josh Allen sacks Josh Allen and intercepts Josh. I was like, what did Josh Allen do to himself? Did he throw a pick and then sack himself and then fumble? Like, what happened?
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh.
It was great. No, it was fantastic. It was, yeah. But just the Bills, like, what are you doing?
Well, the bigger question is, the bigger question is, the bigger question
Are you
is,
serious?
there we go.
He's distracted over there. What's going
No,
on?
I honestly just didn't. I thought you were pointing at the intern. I didn't realize you were pointing at me.
Nope. Just like the jazz band, hit me one time.
Are you serious?
Damn it. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Recording this at 4:00. I'm just off my game. You know.
It's
not
all right.
It's not late enough.
I know the sun's still out.
Not really. Daylight savings, dude.
That's true.
So I want to talk about a guy who is just a walking L.
He's a piece of shit.
Jimmy Lake, head coach, well, hopefully not for long, of the University of Washington. Earlier last week, Oregon and Washington played over the weekend. It's a huge, heated rivalry. The Ducks traveled to Seattle. But before that, Jimmy Lake, head coach of the University of Washington football program, was asked if Oregon is a recruiting rival. And we should preface this by saying that for the past, 3 years, Oregon has been has the top ranked class of recruiting.
I think like 4 or 5.
It's been a long time.
And you're saying Pac-12.
Pac-12.
Yes.
Pac-12.
Yes.
Yeah. So when asked if Oregon was a recruiting rival, Jimmy Lake said thusly, "That's way more pumped up than it is. Our battles really, the schools that we go against have academic prowess, like the University of Washington," which is weird because he's the coach of University of Washington.
He's not the dean.
It's just like, like what? UW, Notre Dame, Stanford and USC. We go with a lot of battles toe to toe all the way to the end with those schools. So I think that's made up and pumped up. So he says that, and then the game happens.
They don't play well.
They got off to a great start because of a couple of gifts. A horrible pass by Anthony Brown to start out, and then a safety.
They had 9 points and 0 first downs.
Yeah. So they looked foolish. Their defense got throttled. Their offense couldn't move the ball.
No.
They looked stupid. But if that wasn't enough,
Travis Dye had more yards by himself than the entire Washington offense.
Right.
That's an ass kicking if I've ever heard of one.
And if that wasn't enough, Jimmy Lake then there's a play on the sideline. I think a duck got knocked out of bounds on the Husky sideline. And, this is a heated rivalry. So obviously there's going to be emotion. There's going to be talking. There's going to be, jabbing, all that. One of a freshman on the UW bench goes up and starts talking shit to one of the Duck players. And Jimmy Lake runs over, strikes his helmet and pushes him back to get back, get the fuck back, get away. He got a 1-game suspension without pay. Fucking loser. And then, so what stood out to me that entire week last week is we have friends who are, fans of UW, and of course they run their fucking mouth because, they have nothing better to do.
Right.
And this is not to shit on UW as an academic school.
It's a great school.
Yeah, great business program, great nursing program. It's
a great medical school.
Great medical school. Fantastic. But they were talking shit the whole week. And you know who didn't talk shit? The University of Oregon. They were like, you know what? Let them talk their mess. We're going to go into Seattle in the rain and shit in their mouths.
Yeah.
And damn it, they did that. And it provided them with plenty of opportunities to talk shit after the game. Mario Cristobal said after the game, "We're proud of the way that our guys came over and showed their prowess in the inclement weather." Not even recognizing Jimmy Lake or his shitty football team.
That's pretty good.
So, and then, Aaron Feld was tweeting about prowess and all that. It was great. It was, as a Ducks fan, it's so satisfying to beat UW.
It's like what I gauge our year of success on.
Yeah.
We could lose every game. Yeah, I'd be pissed about it. But if we beat Washington, I'm like, fuck the Dogs.
Yeah. They're average. I mean, they're so bad.
They are.
They're a high school team on offense.
Yeah. And I told you this yesterday. For all of our friends that are Husky fans and all of our listeners that are Husky fans, that are our age, I just want to ask you a question. What's it like to not really remember Washington ever beating Oregon? Because the Ducks have won 15 of the last 17 meetings. So you talk a lot of shit, but you don't know what it's like to beat us. So, yeah, you had a couple good years when Helfrich was our head coach. Cool. And then you haven't done anything. We've beat you 4 years in a row since Mario's been there. Come on.
You know what it's
I
like?
I feel bad for you.
It's like...
Are you serious?
There you go. Oh, there you go.
Coming from a family of Husky fans, I feel like most of them just draw their attention towards Wazoo because we know it's a more obtainable goal. I feel like in my passing and my experience, there's less, the Oregon UW rivalry has always been there, but it's just kind of the Wazoo one, that one's more fun. We might actually win that one. I feel like in my day, I've never heard my dad's friends really shitting on Oregon that hard because but they're also older, I guess. Probably younger kids are probably talking shit. Yeah. But
I know a lot of people that live in the Seattle area, and good God, do they hate the Ducks. But
yeah,
do you even remember what it's really like to beat us consistently? Because it's been 17 years. Sorry.
No, I mean, not at all. I mean, UW was good in the past.
Yeah, ever since the pick. Downhill.
They had their day in the sun. Isn't that right, intern? Fuck you, Dub.
Fuck you, Dub. Yeah, no. I feel like all throughout like high school and stuff, it was always like the younger, like our age, who was always like the UW Oregon rivalry exists, but then you get into like adults and whatever, and they couldn't give a fuck. But it's like, shouldn't they be like the true Husky fans, like alma mater, that sort of thing? They just like don't give a fuck about the Oregon Washington rivalry.
Interesting.
I don't know. It just feels good.
What's the name of that game called?
I don't think.
I think they just call it. They call it
the border war.
The border war.
Yeah,
the border war.
I thought I had a cooler name.
No,
I remember just going through like the UW, like the merch or the bookstore or whatever, and they had like all the UW fuck Wazoo clothes, and then they had a whole section for the UW fuck Oregon clothes. And I'm pretty sure they had like a funny name on there, but maybe not.
It's the same jokes every year with them duck hunting, and it's just like, you know what? It's
duck
not,
hunting or
it's not funny.
buck the duck or
Let's just pick something.
duck the fuck.
Duck the fox.
Duck is fuck. They're the same word, I guess.
Exactly.
So you can't really
It doesn't
you can't
work.
do much
Yeah,
there.
Right.
Yeah, it at least we have Huck the Fuskies.
We do have Huck
Like,
the Fuskies.
Yeah.
I like a shirt that just says like fuck the ducks, but like you just switch around the lettering, so it looks like you switch the letters, but it's still just the same word.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Let's wrap it up with our favorite segment, Line of the Week. There's been a lot of movement in our rankings for Line of the Week. Intern, you
Not a very good week for the intern.
intern had a very bad week, as did I. I've had a
Very
bad
bad week.
past 2 weeks
Yeah, through all the
or
shit,
3 weeks.
all the shit that you were talking when I was 3-3-1, and you're like, it's over. Like, I'm the king. I'm the best. I'm on a 3-game win streak, and you got a half-game lead, buddy.
I know. I've learned.
It sucks, doesn't it?
I have bet against the New York Football Giants twice in the past 3 weeks. Once I bet the Panthers over the Giants, and I just recently lost Raiders on the Giants. I don't think I'll be betting against the Giants anymore.
Bet for them.
We'll see. I don't know. They're still dog shit. So I'm still in the lead by a half a game. I'm 7-3. Also, I won the most entertaining backburner poll
How do we know our social media manager's not even here?
because we can archive it. I was looking. I'll show you after. Anyway,
She's not here. There's just no evidence.
Exactly.
There's literally no
there
way.
is.
There's no
There is.
evidence.
There's
Nope.
no way to
Nope.
look it up.
there
without
is no.
her.
Yes, there is.
Fake news.
Oh, why? Who's that? Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. So my line of the week is the Denver Broncos coming off a big win against the Dallas Cowboys. They really balled out.
Cowboys are frauds. I've been saying it for 6 weeks. On their 6-game win streak, okay, they beat the Chargers. Cool. Who else have you beat? Nobody. You lost to the Bucks. And then you just get throttled by the Broncos at home. It was so glorious to see. Oh, my God.
I'm going to take the
They're
Broncos.
frauds.
I'm going to take the Broncos with a hot hand. They are playing the Philadelphia Eagles this week. I'm going to go Broncos -2.5 versus the Eagles.
Okay. Intern, what do you got?
So we're gonna ignore the Bills this past weekend because I firmly believe that they will prove themselves back against the Jets. So I have Bills -13 versus the Jets.
Yeah, it's bold because their offense has been struggling mightily.
Struggling. Yeah, it's very bold.
It is. It's bold. But if they lose to the Jets, there's going to be some questions.
Some big question marks.
Yeah.
Yeah, geez.
-13. That's a big line in the NFL.
Intern, you were doing so well, and then Tiller just had a good
last
couple of
week
weeks.
Just, like, really fricked me over.
Yeah. 3-game win streak. I've kind of gone out on a couple limbs. Man, the Chargers saved my ass, though. Woo! It got a little sketchy there for a little bit, but they ended up kicking that field goal, which I said they'd win by a field goal.
Congratulations.
There you
What'd they
go.
do? They kicked a field goal with 5 seconds left and won the game.
What do you want?
I
Want a
don't know.
cookie?
Sure. Are you offering? You offering to make me some cooks?
No,
Oh,
I don't want to.
it's unfortunate. My line, Georgia -20 against Tennessee. I know it's big, it's bold, but Georgia has basically beaten everybody by at least 20 points. Their defense is really good. They're allowing 6.6 points per game. That's ridiculous. And then their offense is averaging 38.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And Tennessee, who just absolutely got smacked by Florida, and it turns out Florida's not that good. They lost to Florida by 24. That was one of my lines that hit. And Georgia minus 20. I thought it was going to be bigger, and I'm a little hesitant because that is big. It's a big line. And that game is in Knoxville, so who knows what the Tennessee fans are going to do. They might start throwing shit again.
Mustard.
Yeah, you never know.
Bring the Dijon.
But yeah, Georgia minus 20. They're the best team in the nation, and Tennessee's dog shit. So I think that's a solid. I'm not going to call it a home run. I think it's solid.
It's a nice, healthy double. Maybe not a home run.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're at a show. Thank you, intern, for coming back. We really appreciate all your effort. We really do. You put pretty much more thought into what you do.
Oh, she definitely puts more work in than I do.
Yeah,
The thoroughness of the reports are always very impressive.
Yeah.
it really is.
Thank you.
You're the face of this show. You're the mascot.
And the beauty and the brains.
So then, what are we?
Just there.
The talking
Just-
voices.
Yeah,
Just talking.
intern. Do you want to take us out?
Oh God.
Oh.
Do I have to read your thing?
Wow.
Can you?
It's my
You don't have it memorized?
The intern hasn't taken. I just think it would be nice. She hasn't done it
Yeah,
before.
sure. Yeah, let her do it. It's not on the doc though, so she might be SOL.
We can all say it together.
No,
I don't even
that's
know
not-
if I know it. I'm trying to think if I do.
You don't know it? God, you're just letting us down.
Where are the Backburners?
And that that's
Includes
how it
another
starts.
episode of the Backburners.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm Sam Taylor and my co-host, the Jewish guy, and we'll catch you on the flippity flip.
Yeah, something like that. All
All
right,
right.
should I just take us out?
Yeah, intern. I'm disappointed. This whole your performance today is nullified.
Rude.
Take us out.
Rude.
Yeah, geez.
And that will conclude another spectacular episode of The Backburners. Shout out to the ugliest co-host of all time, Pinhead Larry, and our wonderful producer, Young Fabio. And thank you, intern, for joining us for part 2. Make sure you give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok at The Backburners Pod and listen to us on your favorite streaming service. We're The Backburners, and we'll catch you on the flippity flip.